Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul are about to fight, and actually, like many of you, I'm kind of getting over the whole spectacle thing, and I think and hope that this will be the last one. But I do believe that Jake Paul is going to win this fight. Not only do I think he's going to win this fight, I can guarantee that he comes out of this fight the winner. And yes, if you're familiar at all with this channel, you understand that I'm probably being careful with my wording and that I'm saying something other than what I'm saying, and that's true. I'll skip the bullshit and I'll say I'm speaking figuratively. Figuratively, he wins no matter what. I'm not saying that Tyron Woodley couldn't knock the man out. Woodley punches really, really hard. In a boxing match, that's only like one thing though. So while I do think that Jake Paul's actually going to win the boxing match, even if he loses, because his defense hasn't really been tested yet, and if Woodley hits him hard, it will hurt. That's how getting punched in the head works. Even if he loses the boxing match, he wins. Because then the next step is to bump back down in competition and start fighting actual boxers of a low level and padding his record. What he's attempting to do is skip all of that. That's what every professional boxer does. You know, people pick on him because I guess the first couple guys he fought were bums. Literally every big pro boxer that you really, really adore started out fighting bums. It's just you didn't know about him yet. That's what chaps people's ass. That's what rustles Jimmy's, is that they know about Jake Paul and that they wish they didn't. But Woodley is not a boxer. And people say, oh, he's a dangerous striker in MMA. But there's a huge difference between punching in MMA and boxing. They're barely related. I've covered that over and over again. And if you know anything about either sport and you watch the two men train, and there's lots of training footage that's out there, you'll see, if you're looking hard enough and looking at it objectively, that there's a difference. Tyron Woodley, when relegated to just punching, doesn't do Tyron Woodley things. It's just not him. His head doesn't move around as much when he's hitting pads as it does when he's wildly swinging and doesn't mind if it goes to a clinch or to a ground fighting exchange. I think the referee is going to come into play a lot in this, because if the referee breaks them up a lot and doesn't let Tyron Woodley like mash himself up against Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley's going to have a bad time. I didn't realize how much smaller he was. And Jake Paul can hit. So if he hits Tyron Woodley a couple times at range, I think what's going to happen, while my hard prediction is Jake Paul wins the boxing match, I'll go into some softer predictions. I think some certain things are going to happen. I think that the referee is going to heavily influence it by either breaking up or allowing clinching. And I think that Tyron Woodley will become frustrated and tired very quickly and very easily. Jake Paul has nothing to lose. If you watch the press conferences, he's like, dude, you're about to get beat up by a Disney kid. You're about to get beat up by a YouTuber. And Tyron Woodley has no answer for that. Because if Tyron Woodley loses, his stock plummets. I mean, he's already on the way out. He's already on the way down. Some people think this is just one last payday. Maybe. But in his last fight in the UFC, he took a beating. A really bad one. He got multiple concussions in the span of just a few minutes. So I think if he gets hit, it's going to hurt. We don't know if his chin is still there. And I know that if he gets hit a few times by Jake Paul, that will become very frustrating. That would frustrate any adult male. Think about that. Think about it for a second. Imagine that you're getting beat up by Jake Paul. Ugh. But if Jake Paul gets swarmed by Tyron Woodley and his heretofore untested defense crumbles, and we find out that he can't take hits as well as he gives them, that doesn't do anything. That doesn't hurt him. He's supremely confident. He's won every stare down and face off and press conference and media event because his trash talk is just so much better. He challenged Woodley. He said, if you win, I'll personally double your purse, and if you lose, you donate it all to charity. That's huge. It's supremely confident. And Woodley's answer was, I'm gonna beat your ass. You know, like, he just was like, he's not supremely confident. I think there's got to be, you know, some insecurity and some nervousness there, because if you lose, and fighters are very insecure people. I've always said that, and a lot of people get butthurt about it. Mostly fighters or fans of fighters, but fighters are extremely typically insecure. There are exceptions, but most of the professional fighters that I've met, trained with, and been friends with are extremely insecure. Jake Paul's not really a fighter as of yet. He's probably more a YouTuber and entertainer. They have some insecurities too. But to be a successful YouTuber, you have to learn not to take yourself seriously. You have to learn to be a little bit secure with yourself. I know because when I was fighting, I felt very bad about myself and had lots of self-doubt and lots of insecurity. And to become successful on YouTube, I had to destroy all of that. I had to let all of that go. So I think Jake Paul wins this one. I think it's going to be very, very close though. I think it'll be very, very close. I think that's the thing that people are uncomfortable with, is the idea that it's going to be close because they feel like it shouldn't. But boxing and MMA are very different. Even talented strikers in MMA going into boxing. Yes, there's something to be said. They do different things. They do weird things that people who only train in boxing won't be ready for. But if it goes past, a round or two, being unorthodox, the novelty wears off. And then the boxer starts to take over. And I think that we'll probably see some of that. And I think we'll see possibly the frustration in Tyron Woodley manifest in the form of some unsportsmanlike conduct, some kind of extracurricular activity going on during the ref breaks or post-fight. I think we will see some shenanigans. But Jake Paul is going to win this boxing match, and even if he doesn't win this boxing match, he's still the winner. He will still be making more money and have more eyes on him. And, I think some of the hate for Jake Paul is starting to wear off, because at some point it's going to become undeniable. Likely when he actually boxes a boxer, that would be helpful for him in some people's eyes. I disagree, because if people are watching and people are paying and people are being entertained, there's your exchange of value. But no matter who wins, I'm certain that it's going to be even. I'm certain that it's going to be ugly. And I'm certain that it's going to be fun to watch.